undeniable, and there's we
Abs-
all know what happens in war.
Absolutely, Cliff. Absolutely. And we're live on Facebook now. So thanks. We got Clifford Eberhard on the line here as folks on Blog Talk Radio. We're just hearing his analysis of this week. Clifford referenced what we were talking about last week and saying, the show could be titled and or is titled This Week in Agenda 21. So I prefer to look at it in a different way, although that's accurate. We're going to call it Revelation this week or Revelation Weekly. Now, of course, you're watching the Militia Intelligence Report, and if you're on Blog Talk, you're listening to the Militia Intelligence Report or any other broadcast radio network that is broadcasting this program. And we got a really packed show. I guess we can start with last week's big news. Clifford was just referencing the coronavirus. That is really key that we know that is a biological warfare operation, and that as Clifford pointed out, the key on this is that they are quarantining people. Now, in China, there are disturbing videos of folks getting carried off screaming by to a facility that they have just recently built very quickly, or facilities that they have recently built very quickly. And when I say I mean the People's Army, the Chinese government's army, the illegitimate Chinese Synagogue of Satan run army. They're run by these those who say they are Jews but are not, the ethnic group that is most associated with both having severe psychopathy and also the individuals who are in charge of telling everyone else how to deal with this bloodthirsty demonic psychopathy that is verified in the blood of a certain ethnic group that controls all the governments and is putting out this culling operation now that's going on with biological warfare agents, aka coronavirus, and many others. There's lots of them out there at this just right now, but the main one that's focused on is coronavirus, and then the quarantining, the through the military, and the culling of the population. Yeah, go ahead, Cliff. Sorry about that. Cliff. Yeah, Barry White is saying again, it's coming. No, it's not coming. It's here. And again, with this gun grab in Virginia, what the population of Virginia is being threatened by with the illegal gun grab and all this other stuff. It happened to me on video camera years ago, and it was on the front page of the newspaper. So it's not coming, it's here. So, and I'm removed from it. So we're gonna remain calm about this whole thing, because hey, it's not in our hands anymore. We've told you all, and you've done absolutely nothing with it. You're all very pathetic. Go ahead, Cliff.
Well, I've been blocked from my account from sharing, and I've just been logged out of one of the Chris Dorsey militia accounts we utilize. Session just, I could blame it on the obsolete technology, or I could blame it on this Unit 8200 run apparatus, or Unit 8200 police apparatus.
Well, Cliff. So real quick, hold on, Cliff. Hold on. So the the account that's the Chris Dorsey, like the primary account, that's locked out now?
I'm not sure if it was the private. I think it was the secondary account.
Okay, yeah. Get to the primary account's where to really share it. That's where it has the hundreds and hundreds of groups, and they usually don't allow you to share all of them, but that's the one.
Are you broadcasting from the primary? Or
no, I'm broadcasting from the secondary. It won't let me broadcast from the primary.
Then it was the primary account.
Okay.
The primary account.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, how many were you allowed to share?
I got at least, I think it wasn't many. It was around, I believe, 20 or so. We had passed the 20 mark because I had to press individually.
So just not many. Not many. Okay, of course. All right, so there you go. They blocked us real quick.
Have you changed the password? Because I can attempt to log back in.
No. It was the yeah.
Boulder up the hill.
Yeah, I mean, try it again. It's the password that you made up. I kept that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean. So again, it doesn't matter what the coronavirus actually is, because it's really affecting the economy, and they are really building these quarantine centers. So I mean, the idea that it's not likely that it is not real, that they're not really sickening people, because they do that every day anyways. So this is one of these things where the folks are, the discernment is something that where they don't go through the stages of rationality, and even they can't even keep track of what they themselves believe, because this alternative media is just becoming nothing but a confusion fest. So they believe folks are intentionally sickened and poisoned through vaccines. So why would one immediately believe that the coronavirus, which is something that is created in biological weapons labs in the area where it is the epicenter around Wuhan, China, why would you believe the opposite? I mean, hey, I'm not saying I don't believe the opposite. I'm just asking the question. Why would you believe? These folks just say, oh, I think this, I think that. And I say, well, okay, there's biological weapons labs that are in the area that are working with that right there. Just like it's always easy for me to start, just throwing out the name Fort Detrick when describing any sort of biological warfare agent, and then being correct because that's where all the evidence points, and that's the biological warfare headquarters of the United States military. So again, yep. I mean,
just an update on the censorship.
Yep.
It's telling me I have the incorrect password. So.
Hey, Barry White, Barry Allen White. Hey, I'm gonna address this guy, because this guy just keeps putting out all our talking points right at once after going, hey, this is 5. Is it? I mean, you're just saying this stuff is very, very, very interesting. That we got all the characters that are out to play today. Go ahead, because we're I want to not pay attention to what's going on in the chat section. We do have a couple folks, even folks who have been on the show, or at least one person who's been on the show whose opinion is trustworthy. other than that, it's just, it's hit or miss. I don't know any of these folks or what they're talking about.
So it's telling me the password's incorrect. Do you want me to hit forgot password and attempt to change it? And again, attempt to push the boulder up the hill?
I would say don't worry about it, because I don't want to add any more confusion and get locked out of my account again. So let me see if I can log in from the password, and then if I change the password, I'll send it to you, and we'll try to roll the boulder up again to the top of the hill, just to have it rolled back down. Here we go. Let's, just so we can show everybody what's going on. So we're verifying it. Your account is temporarily locked. This is the same thing we do every week to try to get this news to you, get this essential analysis. I don't trust anybody else's opinion. I mean, when somebody says, somebody else said that, I don't care what anybody else says. I just don't. My opinion is more relevant than anyone else's in my belief. That's what I believe when it comes to these subjects. Okay. Okay, so I'm re-entering this new password. Okay, okay, I'm gonna press continue and see if that logs us in. Then I'm going to log out, and I'm going to tell you something. We've become good at creating and because we have to change I have to change my password at least once a week, because they lock me out of my account to keep me from using the apparatus. Like they're like, oh, you figured out how to use this apparatus against us? We don't want to let you do that. So Cliff, just add a 1 to the end.
I'm still shadow banned on Instagram.
Well, okay, Cliff, just add a 1 to the end. Okay, you got me? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so back to the actual work. Now back to the actual important stuff. They had the assault weapons ban is going through. A lot of folks got angry in the room, and it's really just they're doing all of this stuff right to everyone. And I'm talking about the assault weapons ban, the quote unquote assault weapon, because like assault weapon, like isn't every weapon an assault weapon? So, like, isn't, if someone uses a butter knife to assault someone, isn't that an assault weapon? When I've seen in jail, one of those like back pocket combs used as an assault weapon, as a shiv. I mean, are we gonna start banning combs? I mean, they should ban them in a jail. I mean, they should. They know what everybody's. That's why they hand it to everyone, because they want everyone to have assault weapons in jail. But everything is an assault weapon. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely insane to ban assault, these rifles. But again, when we talk about rifles, the rifles don't matter anymore. If you think that guns are the weapons of war that are operative at this point, that's a fraction of it. When one has a biological warfare arsenal, I mean, does one of these government staged mass shootings, does that drop the value of oil? What, 8% in 3 weeks? No, it doesn't. Does it get everybody? Does it lock down tens of millions of people in China? No, it doesn't. That has real repercussions. So, did they assassinate Soleimani?
Chris, just a quick update. Well, that probably continue with. But I'm just saying that it's telling me the password's incorrect. Because I'm looking at the password I sent you last. I'm adding a 1 to the end.
Right.
Possibly I misput it. So maybe there's an extra number, particular letters. Maybe. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you want me to send you the password that you made last week? I'll just send you the new one.
I'm copying the password I sent you in text, and I am attempting to add a 1, and it's telling me the password is incorrect.
I don't know what to say then. I mean, we'll just...
Maybe I should just close the app and try to reopen it.
Yeah, maybe that's it, because, that's what was happening
and
with...
Just to confirm the email, the email I'm using is thehappycorner7@AOL.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yep. Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, just do your best, and if it doesn't work, then I'm not sure what to say. Except for I was getting the same thing on Blog Talk Radio for the host pin, and I've literally entered that pin in 200 times, 250 times. I know what the pin is, and I had to hang up, call back, enter the correct pin, have them tell me it's wrong, call back, do that 3 times tonight. So, I mean, all I can say is it's, do your best, and if it doesn't work, we don't have any control over it, unfortunately. So, again, just...
It's asking me to retrieve the password. It asks forgot password.
No. Don't put forgot password.
Okay.
Don't. I don't want to make another password tonight.
All right.
Okay. So, because we've already made, I don't want to start doing this thing and then have them lock down the entire account. So we'll rely on others. Please like and share, because they're not letting us share this show. So if you want to start a watch party, that would be great. If you like to share, that would be excellent as well.
That seems to be the only, because when I attempt to share on my account, I'm able to share in periodic bursts, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Share it in about 5 groups, it freezes. Then I can go back, share to 5 more groups, it freezes. But it always prompts for watch parties. So, and I see most people doing that now, and so I'm wondering what's going on with this apparatus that everyone's starting watch parties.
Well, I think that it's just becoming more and more difficult to share to groups. So, I think it's just probably some new control mechanism that they're exerting, and yeah, I mean we provide all the content for them. They don't have to do anything, and we just create their content, pay their bills, and do the work for them. And then if they don't like the content, that we're utilizing on the enemy's platform. Obviously, we're using our enemy's platform. It goes without saying, like, the benefit that we get out of this is I get to say on the platform that there is absolutely no doubt that when God's law is enforced, that certainly the first thing that will happen will be that the owners and officers of Facebook and the DARPA the DARPA infrastructure that it fronts for will be executed for their treason. Absolutely every one of them, even the actors that are playing the role of Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. Again, these guys aren't real. They are just, playing a gigantic trick on you, and it's not like a trick or treat kind of treat. Trick or treat kind of trick. It is a deadly warfare trick that they're playing against you. So we've been talking about like everything in society when it's peeled back is warfare. God made man warlike. So these folks who are wishing that there is peace, there is always war until there are no human beings on planet Earth, and even after that, because certain animals are warlike, but not all animals, because we are animals too. And we're gonna get into this. I want to go through kind of like the week in review. And hey, we got hey, thanks. Hey, let's block Dylan Salazar. I'm gonna block you, man. I'm gonna block you, Dylan. Join an armed group. I'm going to Israel. Okay. So that guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's a block.
Yeah, I'm blocking you, dude. I've had enough of your nonsense. He wrote, join an armed group. Hey, Dylan. I mean, whatever the guy, Schramm is what he usually goes by. Then he goes by Salazar. He's the one that said last week that he's he identifies as some kind of Brazilian something, and I looked it up, and there wasn't anything to do with that, except for like some sort of model, some Brazilian model. But anyway, he's. Hey, no, you're blocked, man. I'm not gonna relax. You're blocked, man. Block. How do I block this guy? Oh well. If you get a chance, just remove all his comments. I'm not too worried about it, but like that guy sucks. You suck, dude. You suck. You're a joke. And yeah, I'm not gonna tolerate it anymore. You're a chump. Alright, so we had the Super Bowl, so let's get into how that was rigged for the under, which the most popular bet on that Super Bowl was the over-under bet, and 75% of the individuals that went with the most popular bet on the Super Bowl, which was the over-under, they bet the over. 75% of the wagers went to the over. So, and the over started at 51.5 2 weeks ago. And then because of all the money going with the over bet, it went up to 54. And I think even some cases went up to a 54.5 on the over. And folks were still, up until kickoff, betting that, putting that wager at 75%. Only 25% of wagers on the most popular bet on that game bet for the over. excuse me, bet for the under. Only 25% bet for the under. And so that's what came in, and it was obvious with the interceptions thrown right to the opposite team. The 49ers wasting time at the end of the first half, making sure that they don't score. The 10-10 Patrick Mahomes, because even the Chiefs in the first half, they had Patrick Mahomes had to miss wide open completions that I could have made. I don't think I've thrown a football in 20 years, but I could have made some of those completions. So it's in for the under. The fix was in for the under because that's where the most money was. It's just as simple as that. You follow the money. They had the halftime show. That was an attack. That was a multicultural propaganda piece. I do like Shakira, though. I mean, by the way, I like her music. Not all of it by any stretch, but, it's catchy. She's better than J-Lo. Super Bowl rigged, follow the money, fixed for the under. Check out that video on Militia Intelligence Report if you haven't seen it, because it gets more into detail about what we're talking about. But if you don't know anything else, the fix was for the under, which went from 51.5 points, and that's why the final score, the combined score, was 51. So there you have. They won that. And of course, leading up to that was Kobe Bryant dying, which was the most appropriate, because what I know of Kobe Bryant is him raping at least one lady, and also he rigged all the games. Like, the NBA is so rigged, you got to be a freaking moron not to see that. But you got to be a freaking moron not to see any of this other stuff, because either you have to pay no attention to it, or you have to be a moron to believe it. Yeah, go ahead, Cliff.
I was going to say, interesting gematria tidbit. The word conspiracy, using the reduction method, otherwise known as Pythagorean gematria, or the Pythagorean alphabet, where each letter is associated with a single digit based on its position. A is 1, B is 2, J is 1 because it's the 10th letter, 1 plus 0, 1, so on and so forth. The word conspiracy sums to 51, and the final score of the conspiracy, that is the rigging and racketeering of professional sports, professional crooks. The total score was 51, and it was rigged for the under. And another interesting bit, because it was a big 2-2-2-2 ritual, that what Andy Reid, they say, was his 222nd career win, and it was his second Super Bowl win, his first one being with the Packers. And I could say Kansas City, Missouri, using what's known as trigonal, meaning A is 1, B is 1 plus 2, which is 3, C is 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6, etc., etc. Kansas City, Missouri is 2,222. So it's interesting. But what I found fascinating is that from the date of Kobe Bryant's death, or what's reported as his death, to Andy Reid's upcoming birthday is a total span of 54 days, and he wins Super Bowl 54.
Right.
Or his team wins Super Bowl 54.
Right, and that was also that was also the setting of the top level of the over-under, which is the combined score, was 54. And I'd have to double check on the numbers, but it was 54 or 54.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why they set the over under at, and also I mean it's never this or that, it's always this and that. The over under, which was the biggest bet, which is why everybody's watching till the end of the games. That's what they acknowledge with where they wish to expand gambling. They say, hey, it's good for TV ratings too. So, hey, even if it's a blowout, if somebody's got money on how many total yards a team or a specific player, when we talk about football, the in-game betting, which is gonna take off, and I can tell you this gambling, racket, it's moving its way into politics now. I mean, it's already there, but they're going to officially sanction. You can lose all your money, just like you do, and I'm talking to the population of America, not any specific audience members or the audience as a whole. I'm just saying, like America does, you blow all your money now betting on politics. But here's what they're going to do. And just to say, it's not just professional sports that are rigged. It's college sports too. Look at the Boston College point shaving scandal, CCNY, back in the early part of the 20th century with the college basketball scandals and all that other stuff. So it's always been the case. And I watched a documentary on ESPN, I don't even remember, maybe Sunday night, or early Sunday morning, I should say. And they were referencing, it was about Pete Rose and Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe Jackson, known with the Black Sox scandal, where Rothstein, the head of the Jewish, because they're fake Jews, mob, rigged the World Series, the Black Sox scandal. Next season, they're going to play a game, referencing the movie Field of Dreams, which Joe Jackson played a huge role in that movie. He was one of the main characters, Shoeless Joe Jackson. But that they said during the 19 teens, the early 1900s, all Major League Baseball players were involved in fixing and rigging games. That everybody was involved. It wasn't just, hey, Pete Rose or Joe Jackson or just these guys that you would question. It was everybody was involved, and that's the way it is. When did that change? It never changed. Look up tennis. They say 18, and this is last year. No, this was 2018 and 2019. So within the last year, BBC was reporting 18 of the top 60 tennis players were involved in match fixing. So that's such a huge percentage that not any element of the game can be genuine when you have that many of the top players on the ATP, the professional tennis tour. That's it. It's all rigged. So we've established that the football games are rigged, the baseball games are rigged, the soccer matches are rigged, the rugby matches are rigged, the cricket matches are rigged, the basketball games are rigged. There's not one sport that's not rigged that can be gambled on. Go ahead, Cliff. Sorry.
At this point, it's like, well, the sports are rigged, so what else is there? I mean, people still care. People don't care if it's rigged. People in San Francisco want to see the Niners to win, Chris. Why can't they care about that?
Right. I want it rigged for my team. That's the most insane thing. You don't get anything out of it. Those folks, they're not from your town. They don't care about you. They live a different lifestyle than you. They don't have to worry about paying their bills. They don't have to worry about anything but how to spend their millions of dollars. And it means nothing to them. You mean nothing to them. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And this is coming from someone who used to be a sports fanatic. I used to be a sports fanatic. And I can tell you what drove me out of it was an overdose of seeing sports firsthand and an overdose of spending money on Redskins season tickets and being like, you look at this back of the card and it says, "Oh, this is for entertainment purposes only." They tell you on there, "Hey, this is an act." And hey, I was watching tennis, and I wrote a comment somewhere on Twitter, Facebook too, that it's good to watch, like a scene in the movie of like a sword fight or a ballet where you watch it like, wow, that's great athletic ability, but it's scripted and blocked. Like a basketball game. Yeah, that's a nice ballet. I mean, it is impressive to watch that individual slam dunk the basketball, and it's interesting to watch that person get right out of their way to let him go in unimpeded. I mean, so yeah, okay, so we're going to go from one rigged thing to another cuz everything's rigged. The economy, we'll get to the economy rigging.
Chris, the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, go ahead.
The point I wanted to make is that the so-called truthers, like, what are they? Oh, Kobe Bryant. Oh, this doesn't look like Kobe Bryant's helicopter. Like, the level of diligence people show with the death of celebrities, like we've got footage of Joan Rivers, and yet people still don't know what the Bank for International Settlements is. We got footage of Joan Rivers. We got the internet detectives who think they're as skilled as Batman combined with L from Death Note. Sorry, the people don't get the anime reference. But they're out here, oh, this helicopter wreckage doesn't match Kobe Bryant's helicopter. It's like, hey, man, how do you know that helicopter he's posing with is his real helicopter? How do you know he was even killed actually in a helicopter crash? I mean, and who cares at the end of the day? I mean, yeah, I believe they truly sacrificed Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and it's messed up. That's really messed up. But I mean, I have pity for the daughter. But I mean, Kobe Bryant's been rigging games and making people millionaires and like allegedly raping people. He doesn't care about me. Yeah, I enjoyed watching the Lakers growing up, but Kobe Bryant does not give one iota of anything about that enjoyment. So it's like there's bigger things to worry about, and so that's my fact. I wish the people would I feel the need to chastise people for trying to act as though their suspicion of the death of celebrity equates to some kind of activism.
Right. Yeah, Kobe Bryant's death doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, he's I don't wish, I can't, wish death upon anyone. But I mean, he was like a shitty human being. The world, if somebody were to ask me, is the world a better place with or without Kobe Bryant? I would say, like, definitely. Like, him and everyone like him. It would be a better place without professional sports. It would be a better place without millionaires. It would be a better place without individuals involved in gambling and especially rigging gambling. It'd be a better place without rapists. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. Like, all of them. But who cares? Yeah, Kobe Bryant sucks. If you get upset by Kobe Bryant or you even like Kobe Bryant, you suck too. Iowa caucuses, rigged, acronym, CIA, NSA, FEMA, FBI, GRU, ISIS, shadow government. So we had the Iowa caucus. What was that? That was Monday night, wasn't it? Man, you gotta be kidding me with this stuff. Like, it's, yeah. Go ahead, Cliff, if you want to take the floor.
I was just gonna say it was the day after the Super Bowl, but I mean, you take this one, Chris. You did the coverage. I just watched your coverage of it and laughed because, I mean, at this point, acronym is the one in charge of the Iowa caucus.
Yeah, I know. Acronym.
Yeah,
An acronym is an app. Is an app. So like it's crazy on every single level, and they're gonna allegedly recanvass. And the funniest thing I heard when they finally came out days later with the results was the announcement: Booty Judge on top. So I mean that's really right. That's really the punchline where I was like, oh man, they are just taking the piss out of all of us nonstop all the time. And I'm like, I see what you did there. Good one. Booty Judge on top. So this acronym, is put together by a woman named Tara McGowan. So at the time I made this a video to document this, they were not sure what year this person was born in. Wikipedia says she was either born in 1985 or 1986. They're acting like this like, oh, well, they didn't really have proper records back then. Man, some of my ancestors born 1,000 years ago, they know exactly what day they were born. Give me a break, they don't know. And okay, so maybe this is why. So acronym, who owns that company? A company called Shadow. And what is acronym really? It's like word using the first letters.
Shadow the Hedgehog or the Zionist Shadow Government?
Well, of course it's Shadow Government. I mean, they were making jokes about that even on the late night talk shows, who have to act like this stuff is real. And even them, they're like, okay, well, this is suspicious. But then they have to twist it another way. Oh, this is against Bernie. Because I'm telling you, they're campaigning for Bernie. Bernie, the psychotic kibbutz Jew. Bernie the Jew. I mean, the fake Jew. Khazar. I mean, that guy, I'll tell you. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna segue. I don't want to get too caught up in what's wrong with the Ashkenazi, like just by them existing on planet Earth, like what it is that the hell that they unleash from their demonic blood. And like, if you don't know that, like if you don't hear that and go like, oh yeah, that's true, man, you're so delusional. You're so delusional. So Shadow is who's doing this, and here's the other thing. The caucus is a thing where folks go and they don't leave until it's decided what the outcome is. So it's not a matter of like going back and counting votes. The votes are counted there. The caucus goers, when the caucus is done right, they know who wins and loses before they even leave the high school gymnasium. That's it. It's done. That's the way it goes. So if you guys think that there's any kind of representational government, so okay, the app doesn't work? Okay. Call it in. Ooh. No. Can't call it in. Because of the app, the state government, they don't need a contingency or a backup plan. And they forgot how to answer a phone. I mean, folks, and if you go, oh, I don't watch CNN, I don't watch, then you're an idiot, because all that stuff on the alternative media, it's just an analysis of what they get out of the mainstream media. So these alternative media folks that tell you not to watch that, to watch them, don't watch TV, watch me. It's just a scam artist. And we are going to get into the alternative media and how a lot of these guys are drug addicts and criminals. Like that they're involved in biker gangs, but that they are.
Chris, can
Yeah.
I please? I just had a synchronistic illustration of your point about the Ashkenazim.
Go ahead.
So, as
Go ahead.
some may know, I reside with a Michelin and his 100% on, 80, 98 or 96 something percent Eastern European, the rest another offshoot of this bloodline. And
Ashkenazis.
she is telling her son news that he finds like unpleasant about, like he will have to do work on things with her here, and she was planning on not being here, but things changed, and he was upset. And I told him, you can come on, it's not as big a deal. I mean, why can't I be more reasonable on her side, as I am literally taking her side, saying that you could be a little more reasonable when your mother tells you these things. Just a sort of quick antidote on the sort of distorted sort of mental landscape.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got issues and is born a sinner, but Jews are born demonic and sick and psychopathic and sociopathic, and then they spread that disease as much as they can, and that's reality on planet Earth. Okay, so yeah, we covered the rigging of the Iowa caucuses. That is absolutely, just something that cannot be overstated. That if anyone at this point is voting in elections, they are out of their freaking mind. Their opinion is meaningless, and like that's setting a bar. And I can say that even the folks that are they're complete incompetent, and that's the litmus. That's the first litmus test.
Reality and geopolitics and any sort of political thought. You may be competent at being a carpenter. You may be competent at being a mechanic, but deposing this satanic hellscape and talking about what to do to better the planet, you are complete incompetent.
Right. Yes. Voting is absolutely insane. It is it is exactly the same as getting robbed and beaten by your assailant, and then giving them consent to come back and do it again and kill you. So that's what voting is. You are giving consent to a individual, and that's the government, an entity that is robbing and beating you, and then on top of that you say, please come back, rob and beat me again, and actually kill me this time. That's what you're doing, because that's what the government has planned for you. Macy's to close 125 stores, cut 2,000 corporate jobs. Okay, so they're telling us that the economy is so great. And what we're saying is that everything is rigged, and that if the economy is so great, why are they continually, lowering the interest rate? And why are they continuing to carry out the quantitative easing program? And when there's problems with the repo rate, why are they just adding more and more to the balance sheet? So what we told you is when they're adding money to this balance sheet, to the Fed's balance sheet. So say the stock market goes up 16%. That's because they added 16%, more money to the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. So there you go. And if when the economy is so great, why are there more and more people living out on the street? Because that's where your first money goes. When you get money, everybody's like, well, first I gotta have like a roof over my head. You know, before you buy a car, before you go on vacation, before you buy food.
Can you hold that thought? Because I wish to again chastise the masses about sort of their incompetence, because I was speaking with this Jamaican woman I was telling you about her before, and she was people here in San Francisco. They're running different types of operations to see how easy they can lure people into these internment camps and these sort of like these shelters, because they no longer say homeless, they say unsheltered.
Right.
And she was seeing meth addicts living in tents saying, oh, this is a setup. And obviously it's a setup. And they chose to stay in there because they knew it was a setup. Now, the people who this warped society would say I would refer to as my peers, they're not my peers, they're not my family, they're not my peerage. But those in my same age bracket from college who are supposed to be educated by this society's standards have less than meth addicts in San Francisco. So I don't really know what to say about the state of affairs on planet Earth, besides people that I used to respect and would call intelligent have less common sense than people who are degenerated by like drug abuse.
Yeah, okay. So like a drug-addled meth head has more common sense than a individual who graduated from a prestigious small private college in the United States of America. So to me, that's not surprising, because what I know about the degeneration of society is that if somebody tells me that they're 25 years old, I will say, well, by the time you are my age, and I just turned 46, you will be 2 times as dumb as me. And not saying I'm smart, I'm just not so stupid. It's the idiocracy sort of concept. Over 2/3 of U.S. Jews feel tied to Israel, which is the Rothschild Zionist state. And I agree 100%, Jess. Finances are only great if you're a criminal. So yeah, the only individuals that benefit at all from this society, and we're going down below the millionaire line here, because a lot of folks used to get really upset when I would go like, hey, all millionaires are guilty of treason, and the punishment for treason should be enforced against all who carry out treason. And then, oh, millionaires, oh, all lawyers, oh, all judges, all cops, they're all guilty of treason. So we're saying if one benefits from this financial system at all, in any way, and you know, I don't know why that just happened, but my computer just, well, we'll see if we can catch it. No, we weren't able to catch it. We're catching the... Oh. Now it came back on, of course. As soon as I flipped back to it, it just shut down and then shut back up again. Or turned back on again. But in any event, if anybody's benefiting at all from the society, you're a criminal. You are a absolute criminal. This society is based in usury. We go through this every freaking week. It's compounding interest. So it's not a real thing. Interest is not like part of the natural order of things. You know, interest on money is not a natural thing. It creates problems for everyone. Hold on. For everyone but the criminal in the usury structure. It creates problems. Go ahead, Cliff. Sorry.
I was just saying it's black magic, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 100% black magic. Yeah, it is. Everything to do with money is black magic. Because what is money? Break down the words mono and I. The third eye. I'm pointing at it right now. And if you're just listening on the radio, it's between my eyebrows. It's at the bridge of my nose. That is the God gland, the pineal gland. So the mono eye.
That makes me want to get into.
Well, let me finish.
Go ahead.
So what do they do with that? They go like, okay, well, we don't want folks to have their bridge to God at the bridge of their nose. They don't want that. So they go like, we'll give you a simulation of this. And this is a black magic simulation. This is in lieu of your mono eye, because God gives us, we don't want for anything. God gives us everything that we could possibly want for. He takes care of the fishes in the sea and the birds in the air. So of course he's going to take care of those who were made in his image, which is mankind. And mankind, we're all born equally free, but we're not all born equally competent. We're not all born equally skilled. So we are born equally free, that's for sure. But we're not born equally skilled. So we have this, the mono eye. That's where we get.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. There's nothing.
That's what should probably be noted for everyone who wants to catch feelings about everything. But once again, their opinions don't particularly matter.
Right. So we have the God gland, the pineal gland. And we go through. I mean, we've covered this, I guess, as much as anybody out there. And so they simulate the money. The mono eye is our simulation. Whatever God gave us. So that's why in the Bible it says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's why they say in the Bible, hey, if you carry out usury, you are, you die. Like, that's the punishment. And you had it coming to you. It's good. It's good that you die. You did that to yourself. Let's see what we got here. Let's go over some of these, because we're gonna also get into not hardcore, but we're gonna get into some biblical animal rights for those folks. I'll tell you what folks really get upset about. It really blows my mind, and I'm going to do this after the usury things. Let's see. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. Take thou no usury of him. This is Leviticus 25:36. That previous one was Exodus 22:25. Take thou no usury of him, or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. We repeat these every week, and we'll do it all the time. We'll never stop. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. So it's not just money, it's food, it's everything else. It's everything, every kind of using of another individual. Let's see. Hath given, this is my favorite, hath given forth upon usury, and hath taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He hath done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. Amen, 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 and amen. So I want to talk about this stuff with the treason. And folks going like, oh, you can't say that all government officials are guilty of treason. And, because that means that they should be executed. Well, they're not innocent. They're guilty of the crime. They're carrying out war against the people. Now, one can make an argument, hey, that this United States of America was abolished 100 and whatever years ago, so they're carrying out treason according to the Constitution. Hey, but there was treason even before the Constitution even existed. And where does that come from? That comes from like, hey, doing wrong against your tribe. What does that mean? Doing wrong against your family. So if you expand that out to be like, oh, the family of man, or the family of all living beings, or the family of the creation of God, yeah, they're all guilty of treason. So why you get so upset when you see that the state is still executing folks? And I'm not even saying, hey, that's a problem. But you don't even complain when they execute folks. If you take every state, and there'll be like 25 or 35% of those executed, sometimes even up to 50%, that are innocent of the crime that they are executed for. And this isn't some sort of alternative media that I'm getting this stuff from. I've known this all along because this has been well documented by the mainstream media. So these folks who act like they're against this criminal government structure, that they're against this treason, they'll act like they're against it, but they will jump up and down like their hair is on fire, rip their hair out left and right and complain, oh, Chris Dorsey, I'm so angry at you because you say all millionaires are guilty of treason. But you never, ever even say a God-blessed word about the thousands and thousands of innocent persons that are executed by the state, which is happening now. It's not some hypothetical thing where it's like, hey, this is what the law says. They're guilty of treason. Yeah, I believe the law should be enforced. That's a belief. That's an opinion. They're actually murdering folks, and you never say a word about that. So let's go on to the animal rights thing, because this is another thing. I'm talking about what triggers folks, and what they'll get all up in arms about. Oh, Chris. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're acting like vegetarianism is biblical. Come on. What about this statement? What about this passage? Blah, blah, blah. It says like, yeah, I know what it says. It says, yeah, it seems to say, you can pick out 2 or 3 verses that seem to say, yeah, you can eat animals. After the Genesis story in the beginning, it says you can't eat animals. Don't eat animals. This is what you eat. But then it goes, hey, you can eat some animals and don't eat these animals. So these folks that are coming after me, and I'll tell you, and we'll demonstrate this later on in this broadcast. But for every passage in the Bible that says you can eat certain animals and not others, there are double the amount that says don't eat animals. Don't eat flesh. Don't eat blood. And folks go like, oh well, that's talking about a certain way to slaughter the animal. So there's that. There is blood in meat. And it doesn't say in the Bible, oh, okay, if it's only 2% of the meat is blood, then it's all right. It says don't eat blood. So again, we talked last week and the week before about slaughterhouses, and we're going to connect this to the biological warfare, because this is what it is, that they're at slaughterhouses in the United States, that they are slaughtering 40 pigs every second in these slaughterhouses. That the law says you can do 20, but the law is not being enforced, so folks are doubling that and more. So that's every second. So I don't know if you can imagine that much demonic, sacrificial energy, the pain and the suffering of another animal. If it affects everything around, it's energetic. Everything's a vibration. Everything's an energy. And so that's what they need. This is the black magic that they love. So again, and everyone will preface the statement, Chris, I know that, and I'm talking about some guy who doesn't use his real name on the internet called C. Michael. So I'm going to call you out, even though I agree with most of what you say and write, but you're wrong about this. Yeah, factory farms are disgusting. Well, that's all everybody eats is factory farm stuff. Well, I hunt. Well, if you hunt, you're definitely, eating other meat, and you're definitely not just eating, and if there's one person out there that's doing it, there's millions and billions upon billions who are not, who are using this toxic disease, eating toxic and disease spread meat. And if folks, then they go like, oh yeah, well, they never complain about the industries. I'll tell you, the hog industry, it's the worst for the environment. There's certain parts of Virginia and North Carolina that are uninhabitable for generations because of all the sewage canals. And you can't even go through certain areas of Virginia and North Carolina because it's unbreathable. It is unbreathable. It is filthy and disgusting, and they're slaughtering these things, dozens, every second. Every time I say second, 1, 2, 3, dozens. So you guys keep getting upset at me. Keep getting angry at me. Keep showing that demon inside you. Keep showing that love to excuse and kill the innocent, and keep defending from any harm at all the most guilty. Keep doing it, folks. Keep doing it. Cause you're guilty now too. So, okay, cool. All right, sorry if I have to. Yeah, okay, I'll unmute you. Sorry, I didn't even know you had gone, and I'm clicking on mute. And okay, so sorry. Okay, Cliff's back on.
I was dropped. Did you hear what I said before? What was the last thing you heard me say, Chris? Because I'm curious as to, because I got a little dramatic.
I have no idea. I don't know.
I'm not. I was saying that when people get upset about millionaires being guilty of treason and not subject to the death penalty by law, very common sense thing in this day and age.
Right.
But I said, but Chris, like my deluded dream of wanting to be a millionaire and have all the fake money so I don't have to worry is more important than the fate of the planet.
Well, that's delusion. Again,
that is the deluded satanic mind state folks seem to be in.
Right. Oh, I'll tell you. I the problem is, and I believe that, my personal belief is that there is no one I would trust to do the right thing with the money. So I believe in kingship. I believe in royalty. I believe that there are certain individuals that are the only individuals who have a skill set, which includes a lot of things, but especially a moral center, to be in charge of all the weapons of war and all the money. And what we have now is a system where it's the worst, because it's like money exists, things of value exist. And the problem is that we're trusting the worst folks with that. So, I mean, that's the issue, and that's the problem. So, what time is it? What we got looking at? Okay, so we got a good bit of time. I do want to cover, now that we're thinking about it and we're on the subject, I wish to cover vegetarianism and animal rights in the Bible and how that fits in with the time right now. We're in the time of Revelation. So, in the time of Eden, in the time of Edenic purity, of course, you can't eat of the flesh. Of course you can't eat of the flesh. Of course you can't kill the animals, because you have dominion over them. So like these other times, man, the time's tough. Or the people were ungodly. And the people were channeling something that is ungodly. But in the time of animals in heaven, and when I say animals, I mean humans are animals. We're all animals. We're going to get into that, but I mean, really, eating animals is not good. Eating factory farmed animals, which is the only thing you're eating, is, I mean, it's just it's possibly the most disgusting thing that there is out there. But like, hey, don't like, don't send me anything more disgusting. If there's something more disgusting than that, I don't want to contemplate it too much. And of course, my freaking computer is freezing up. Okay, so can we do that? No, let's click off of that. Click off of that. Am I gonna have to restart this computer? Because as soon as I
want to try to get into the impeachment circus at some point.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that now while the computer's frozen up. I mean, I could talk about that in my sleep, because that's what the chatter is. I'm always hearing the chatter in the background. So yeah, go ahead and kick us off if you wish to, Cliff.
I mean, again, it's like I found Pelosi entertaining, but I mean, she's a criminal. Trump is a criminal. I mean, she gets paid good money to act very mortified and indignant that Chabad mobster, Chabad Lubavitch errand boy, Donald Trump is roasting America for the fourth year in a row,
yeah, this is his fourth year. Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah, it's his fourth roast. Yeah, because that's what Donald Trump is. He's a roaster. So you think he's like from the Friars Club or Comedy Central, or back in the 60s and maybe the 70s, those Dean Martin roasts. I mean, I watched one that was pretty interesting a few weeks back. It was Ronald Reagan being roasted by Dean Martin and other comedians. And yeah, it's just nothing but a mockery of the economy's the greatest of all time. It's the greatest ever. I mean, it's like, really? Like, how is that possible? Americans used to give away 40 acres to ex-slaves. They would give them 40 acres who has 40 acres now? Only rich people. I mean,
And only a certain class of rich people.
and then only a certain class of rich people. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we used to have
Like,
property.
and think of it this way: they say San Francisco has more billion capita than that own 40 acres. They're probably not really using it unless they're using it to, like, you know, have children mine stuff or something of that nature. They're just letting it sit at, and they're going to leverage it as they continue this warfare. But it's ridiculous.
It absolutely is. And you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to at least log out. I'm gonna have to at least close the tabs and then get back on to my get back on the internet. And I may have to turn my computer on and off. So yeah, that stuff with the impeachment, it was like, I mean, that guy, I mean, I don't even think that was the worst thing by far that Donald Trump did when he was, you know, with the Ukraine, you know, leveraging the Jewish Ukrainian president. I mean, that, you guys, you just don't get it. It doesn't matter. They're all slaves to this satanic bloodline. They're all slaves to it. Oh, well, one thing I did want to get to was the Richmond Commonwealth Attorney's Office, Richmond, Virginia, and the Richmond Sheriff's Department, headed by Antoinette Irving. I mean, I laugh at these. I mean, I laugh at these folks. Like, I've known these folks. I've known Antoinette Irving for 12 years, and I'm like, how does she even have a job? How does she have, like, any job? And how is it that she's in charge of the parts of the Henrico jail and then now the city jail? She was the vice president of this police front gun grab group that I had infiltrated and was on the board of, called Citizens of Greater Richmond Against Gun Violence. I confronted a lot of criminals in my role, sitting at the head of the table, armed always, and confronting these FBI special agents in charge, or Commonwealth attorneys, or attorney generals. I mean, I've always had the ability to get at them, but it was a couple weeks ago when they let a convicted murderer walk out the front door, and they started making excuses. And now there was an incident that everyone's really upset about a 3-year-old getting shot while playing outside at one of the public housing projects in Richmond. And I'll tell you another thing about Richmond. Richmond has the highest per capita public residency in public housing of any place on the East Coast of the United States. And the man charged with it was in jail for, and let out, should have been, I mean, even by their own rules, was in jail for a carjacking and raping a child, and was let out, and then it is believed, not purposely or not purposely, we don't know, shot and killed a 3-year-old. So basically they have no problem planning to jail gun owners, but these individuals that are actually caught murdering people, raping children, and committing multiple carjackings, somehow they're let out and then do crazy stuff. Richmond, let me look this up. Murder let out of Richmond jail. All right, let's see what we have here, and then we'll get to the latest one with the okay, here we go. January 27th, 2020. And this is all the same location, same jurisdiction. Richmond City Jail. Hey, Cliff, you remember the videos of my debates with Antoinette Irving?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can find me. I mean, I don't know what to say. It came out in the Richmond paper and it was on video. One of the times I debated her, and I've debated her a number of times, that she was getting answers from her brother in the audience who was texting her. And then I said, look, you don't even know how to answer these questions, and that guy right there who's texting them to you is not doing a good job of answering them either. But you're getting all of... And she says, no, I'm not. I said, yeah, you are. I'm looking at the answer right now. I'm reading it off your phone. And so this is who's in charge. So we'll get into this. Slow paperwork allowed murder suspect to walk free. Now, this is not a murder suspect. This is he was indicted for murder. Okay, so he hasn't been found guilty, but he was indicted for murder. Man currently in jail to be indicted for Richmond murder, and that is Jamal Ellis. Was that no? Oh no, the different guy. Slow paperwork. Allowed Richmond murder suspect to walk free. It wasn't Antoinette Irving. It wasn't any of those double-digit IQ idiots that work at the jail. It was the slow paperwork to blame. That's what the problem was, the slow paperwork. Deon Thomas walked away from the Richmond Justice Center last Thursday. Here we go. Because of slow paperwork. That's what the headline says. So a murder suspect walked out of the jail. Not a murder suspect, an indicted murderer. And there's lots. Hey, I don't want to make this guy, seem special, because there's lots of murderers in Richmond. There are tons of them. It's like one of the only things that the population of Richmond as a whole does well is murder. That's the specialty. That's what they do. Deon Thomas walked away from the Richmond Justice Center last Thursday because there wasn't a court order to hold him. So what? After somebody gets indicted for murder, they go like, okay, you may get to go. We'll just wait to see if there's a order from the court to hold you. Oh, no order. Oh, I know you were indicted for murder, but that must mean you get to go home. He had been indicted by a multi-jurisdictional grand jury a few days prior. So it's like it was fresh in their minds. Yeah, so there you go. So now let's get into... So that was January 27th. Fast forward to... Let's see what day this is. I think this was the 6th when this story came out. Yep, February 6th. Richmond man charged in carjacking also suspect in child rape when released on home monitoring, and now they believe he's the one that killed that 3-year-old. Let's see. Okay, let's read. Antonio Lee Harris, who has a history of gun convictions and probation violations, had been charged in an armed carjacking in November and was suspected in the rape of a 12-year-old girl when a Richmond judge approved his release on bond and his placement in home electronic monitoring. Harris is now suspected of committing 2 more carjackings after he let the batteries die on his... Oh, they're blaming him for it! He let the batteries die. He let the batteries die. And went AWOL. What, did he agree? Did he agree? Oh yeah, okay. It is unclear how much General District Judge David M. Hicks knew about Harris' criminal history or whether he knew about the rape allegations when he made the bond decision. Hicks declined to comment. I know David Hicks well. I've had many stern talks with David Hicks. Me being stern with him. And so I blame less, in this particular instance, David Hicks, and more Antoinette Irving and Colette McEachin, who is the wife of Donald McEachin, the United States Congress member. Colette McEachin is the Commonwealth's attorney, which she says Richmond prosecutors declined to say whether the Commonwealth's attorney's office agreed to the terms of Harris's release. That's why, again, I blame less David Hicks, because they're trying to throw him under the bus. They're trying to make it his fault, because they were the ones that set this up. And it could not be determined from an examination of the court record. The defense attorney in the case also declined to comment. Nobody comments about this. It's still a very sensitive, ongoing investigation, Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachin said Thursday. Even though the bond matters have been concluded for now, it is part of a larger, ongoing picture to hopefully produce. So, yeah. And I can tell you, not for nothing, but these are all African Americans that are involved in this. Colette McEachin, obviously the suspects that are carrying out crimes in the public housing projects, because that's 100% of the public housing projects in Virginia, in Richmond, are African Americans, or those with a lot of, and so the point here with that is that they are, they're not being difficult on this because it is not popular. It is very popular to let these dangerous criminals out on the street in the city of Richmond with certain populations here. So let's see. Police have been, okay. So we'll get to this. Okay. Harris was arrested Sunday and charged with the carjacking of a Lyft driver on Friday night in South Richmond. Police investigators also suspect him of carrying out another carjacking in Richmond on January 24th, but he has not been charged in that case. Police have been investigating whether Friday's holdup of the Lyft driver on Berwyn Street is connected to 4 reports of random gunfire over the weekend about 2 miles north of Hillside Court community, including the fatal shooting on Saturday of 3-year-old Shamar Hill Jr. as he was playing outside of his home. So, there you go. enough said. Enough said about this incompetency. Oh, we'll add one more name to the mix. And this guy is not an African American, but he is equally complicit in all these crimes, and that's William Smith, who, again, I have also known for over a dozen years or thereabouts, and have absolutely nothing but disdain and respect. That he is nothing but a dishonorable human being, and he knows it. He knows all these folks. They know that they're wastes of oxygen. They know that they're guilty of treason. They know it. They've been told, and they know it too on top of that. So that's what we have here. Cliff, you still there?
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's going on in other cities, if you're seeing that kind of thing out in San Francisco, but that's what's going on here in Virginia. Can you believe that? I mean,
we can tie this to the immigration side, Chris, because they're talking about letting victims of illegal immigrant crimes sue the sanctuary city. So who can the family of this 3-year-old sue? Can they sue Antoinette Irving?
They're going to. They're going. Well, I mean, they may pick someone else. They may pick David Hicks as the subject of lawsuits. But in any event, all these individuals have been involved, like, hands-on, directly with my kidnapping, attempts on my life, and taking away my gun and my camera, and then removing video, wiping video clean of crimes carried out by them, the government. Every one of the ones, those named individuals that I talked about in that story. So when they snatched me up off the street and gave me no bond for made up things that I had videotape proof that I didn't do, these are the ones that are allowing these folks to go free and commit all these crimes. So what good are they? Because what they're doing is putting innocent, law-abiding, not law-abiding, law-enforcing individuals with no bond in a cage, and letting the very few, because I believe that, like, maybe 8% of the population, that hopefully will work to where it's very low. 1 to 10% of the population, belongs in a cage, and they're taking the 1% that belong in a cage and letting them out. And I'm not even saying these 1% belong in a cage. I'm saying that they need to be away from society, because they're criminals that cannot help themselves. And instead of protecting society, these individuals in the city of Richmond, Colette McEachin, David Hicks, William Smith, Antoinette Irving, and before them, Woody and the rest of the criminals, every member of city council, LeVar Stoney, etc. Man, they're releasing the most bloodthirsty, dangerous murderers out there for everyone to be targeted by these, I wouldn't even call them animals. These demons. Animals are much, much more trustworthy than humans. We'll get into that when we start talking about the animals in the Bible, vegetarianism in the Bible, etc., etc., and we're getting to it. All right, we're getting to it. Let's see here. So, that they know, I mean, they don't want the most important stuff coming out, and if they can't help but have it be put out, they will they'll limit how folks can view it. They'll limit the amount of people who can view this stuff, and that's what they're doing here. That is what they're doing. So I'm gonna try to locate it. I'm looking for a post right now that I made last night. I made it in response to a particular comment, and we'll kind of segue back to this. A particular comment about somebody getting really, really upset at me railing against factory farming and advocating vegetarianism and ending the enslavement of animals. Humans will never be free as long as animals are enslaved as they are. So we really... Hey, and I do want to say this, that their Camp Ashland, which is right outside of Omaha, Nebraska, is going to be where they're quarantining, and this is a military base where they're going to be quarantining coronavirus, those who have tested positive for coronavirus. Camp Ashland, I don't want to be like, quarantined any place called Ashland, where they turn you to ashes after they quarantine you and stick you in an oven. But anyway, that's what it is. That's what's happening. So here it is. All right, so we got at least that. So we'll start with, and this is from allcreatures.org, Animals in Heaven, a look at Revelation 4:6 through 4:9. Church Silence Promotes Violence, an article series from allcreatures.org. Church Silence, and I agree with 100% of what was written here, and I will give credit from the beginning. Church silence promotes violence to humans, to animals, to our environment, to our economy, to our education, to our finances, and to our health, by Mary T. and Frank L. Hoffman. So God bless Mary T. and Frank L. Hoffman. I guess that goes without saying. There are many people who believe that their companion animals have souls and spirits just as we do, and the Bible confirms this. Upon the death of a beloved companion animal, many people suffer a double tragedy. They are in deep mourning, and they are being denied the church's comfort and confirmation that animals are in heaven. This article addresses a portion of this problem. We have often wondered why the English translation readings of Revelation 4:6 through 9 use the word creatures or beasts or beings when the Greek clearly describes these beings as animals. Let's begin by looking at these verses in the King James Version. Emphasis added. Okay, so the emphasis is they've darkened in the operative word, which is beast. And this is Genesis 4:6 through 4:9. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. Okay, so the proper translation would be round about the throne, and that's round about the throne of God, were 4 animals full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast, properly translated as animals, was a lion. The second beast was a calf. And the third beast had a face as a man. And the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. So that when one thinks about eating veal, baby calf, so know that that you know that yes, that is an innocent creature, and that creature is in heaven, and that the people who are the beasts, they create their own, the true beasts, they create their own hell. That if beast is a negative word, it's not in this instance, but some folks say they're trying to make it so. And the four beasts, properly translated as animals, had each of them 6 wings about him, and they were full of eyes within. And they rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, which was and is to come. And when those beasts, properly translated as animals, give glory and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who liveth forever and ever. Amen. Amen. So the Greek word used is zoa, pronounced zoa, a plural nominative neuter noun meaning animals, pronounced zooan for a single animal, as in verse 7, zoology, the study of animals, and zoological, garden, or zoo are words derived from this Greek word for animal. Yep. Oh yeah. Somebody was talking about Greg Bowe says Kentucky Governor Nevins released hundreds of criminals as his term ended. Yep, they do that a lot. Okay, other scholars must have agreed, for the New King James Version has changed the word to living creature or living creatures, as the case may be. And as other more modern translations have done, the Living Bible translates the word zoon as living being. But none of these translations seem to acknowledge these beings as animals, as we are. And isn't that funny? One of the reasons, could that reason be that these animals are full of eyes? Question mark. Could it be that similar beings are described in Ezekiel 1:5-10 as being of human form with 3 animals and a human face? Perhaps, but the animals of Revelation 4 each have only 1 face. We seem to have no problem discerning the Lamb of Revelation 5 is Jesus Christ, even though he is described as a lamb with 7 horns and 7 eyes. Then why don't we acknowledge these beings as animals in Revelation 4? Good question. Are we afraid that if we acknowledge that there are animals in heaven, we would become so emotionally and spiritually convicted that we would no longer eat them or wear their skins? Is it that we are afraid to admit that animals are living souls? Hebrew pronounced nefesh ka ya, just as we humans are. We believe that these are exactly the reasons. I believe it too. Compare the Hebrew of Genesis 1:20, 21, and 24, where God created animals, with Genesis 2:7, where God formed man. We are all described as living souls. We have culturally distorted the true meaning of this Revelation passage.
Chris, I think we might have a caller.
Okay. Yeah, let me try to get to Blog Talk Radio. Let's see, and I'm gonna have to go to the studio. No, let's go to the studio. And yeah, caller, stay with us. And that humans are animals too. Okay, yeah, this is from San Francisco, looks like California. All right, so we'll get right to them in just a second. All right, so we got a caller. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from the East Bay. I just have a San Francisco number.
Oh, okay, okay. Calling from the East Bay then. Yeah. What's on your mind, caller?
Yeah, Chris, I know this I know this person. This is actually the woman I was mentioning to you before.
Oh, okay. Right on. Excellent. Yeah, good to have you on the show. Yeah, let us know what your thoughts are.
Nice to be here. There are a few things going on. I was told personally from two individuals left Atlanta and came out here, and they looked physically slightly altered.
Mm-hmm.
That means they're taller than they should be. There's physicalities that are not possible naturally. And so I went up to both of these brothers and I said, "You're so and so from this university." And they said no. They denied it for a good month. I mean, they denied that they were who they were. And then I said, "No, I have pictures. I can show you." So then they admitted that they were who they were, but they're out here undercover, not as federal agents, not as, so there's a different category now of altered humans. So yes, these beings or these beasts existed. They have, evidence or remains that they have tested for what you have spoken on. But we need to turn it up a notch because now they're taking dead bodies, people who they have killed, and brought them back to life, resuscitated them to work. So instead of a robo soldier or a drone, they will take your old colleague, erase the hard drive where they only have some of their memories. They don't have their personality anymore. So they're going to walk different. And they don't have, they're capable of anything. Whoever their children were before this walking happened, they don't care. And they do look physically different.
Okay. Okay. So
and so right now you've got just like an alien has a spirit. I mean, just like everybody has a spirit. Okay, there are entities because they have life. Well, the way that these humans or deceased humans have been bodied and resuscitated, because this came out of his mouth. So when you talk about a brotherhood, this is the secret that they're keeping. They can make things happen against your will. You do not have to submit.
okay.
And then they can tie.
Caller. Sorry. Apologies for interrupting. Okay, so there obviously there's lots of questions that one would have to ask because this sounds even to me difficult to believe. Now I do know of certain instances, and I will say one thing I was watching on Twitter today with the caption, "This person has been dead for a long time," and it shows some it's disgusting. This guy takes a live chicken and just starts shredding it to pieces. This was on Twitter, and of course, I remember watching as a child and then looking into this watching as a child the movie The Serpent and the Rainbow, and then looking into how they were zombifying individuals through shamanic curses, but mostly through chemical reactions. They were through, for lack of a better term, poisoning. So is that what you're talking? Is that what's being discussed? That human zombies that are.
That is part of it, but there's more to it. So they've actually contracted. So they tell you, hey, Johnny.
Who's doing this though?
5 years.
Who's doing
Don't
this?
you up.
But again, question. It's like I have to get to the bottom. Who's doing this? This is a military operation.
Government.
The
Okay.
government.
Okay, so this is a private military operation. So it's not the general government. This is the privatized entities who run the military.
Okay. So this.
You know how the military was not obeying Obama?
But
the military did a
wait a second. 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 Whoa. Okay. No. Okay. So all the presidents are actors. Barack Obama is a homosexual prostitute.
Puppet.
Right. That they're puppets. So it's right. It's not that the military was obeying one guy and not obeying the other. The president is inconsequential.
90 seconds.
Theatrics.
Right. So
Right.
they're autonomous. So
So
what
let's
I'm
not
saying is
dwell on theatrics.
so
Okay.
there is a private interest group that is
What is that private
behind
interest
the
group?
wall and all these
What is it and who represents it?
Okay, so let's get to that.
Right.
You already know, I'm sure, but for the callers, there was a small group of Norman
60 seconds.
tribes of Germany that were banned from Europe because of they were ousted from Europe as heretics. They were being chased by the church, so-called, for doing demonic or unexplainable magical things with children. So they came to America and founded America. Okay, those were the pirates. They raped everybody in Europe and they sent them here.
No,
So the
that's
founding
wroong.
fathers
That's incorrect.
of America
That's
were
incorrect.
not owned.
Misinformation.
That's incorrect.
Let me give this to you.
But that's not correct.
Let me just
That's wrong.
give this to you.
That's not how America was founded. That's not who founded America.
So, okay, that's fine. So
But
I'm
it's
going
not
to say-
fine. Like, because like that's wrong. So it seems to me
Hold on,
like
let me finish. So the Caucasians who came here, they were they gave themselves Jewish last names like Rockefeller, Mullins, and MIR Amschel, and they changed their last
The
names.
synagogue of Satan. So we're talking about the synagogue.
but that's not the bloodline that founded America.
That a small group of European Germans.
Yeah, that's not the bloodline that founded
Yeah,
America.
right. That's
They took
And
control.
they are still doing their experimentation. So they made friends with some great.
so again, you're wrong, and you're put here to put out misinformation. Like you keep going,
Oh, here you go.
and you're wrong. So I'm gonna tell you what's right. Okay. So you keep using the word German. You keep using the word Caucasian. Like you don't have any idea.
You're incorrect, RPM. You're incorrect.
It's incorrect. So like no magical people.
Saying, okay, Clifford, let's stick a pin. What is he saying?
Hold on a second now. I've got the floor here.
The synagogue of Satan did not found America.
Okay, so let's go over that. All I'm trying to talk about or address is what extraterrestrial union.
May I ask you a simple question, and you're giving out a bunch of wrong information, and like that makes me think the whole thing is like
Now,
just
that's
wrong.
what you are saying. I'm giving you historical, factual.
No, but you're giving me historical, unfactual information.
It's very hard for a lot of politicians to hear. But the founding fathers came here with a prime directive, and they made a contract with disagreeable aliens, and that's why they were privy.
Yeah, like you don't have any idea what you're talking about. Like you're wrong about so many things. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this is where all white people are good. So Wallace is not raping Mexican children, and you just don't want to hear anything that steps on your toes. Is that where we are, or are you an actual informed individual that is trying to have a podcast to enlighten the public? Because really,
Look, you're saying a bunch of crazy wrong information. You don't even know what the words you're saying mean. You don't even know what the words that you're saying mean. So,
which word, sir?
Caucasian, You don't know,
Yeah, dead end.
right? German, you don't know what that means.
So that word has pushed your button. So if we can be mature and emotionally sound enough,
You make me. You're funny, but you have lost your mind. You've lost your mind on many levels.
done with the emotions, can we do science?
No. I mean, my emotion is happiness right now because you make me laugh.
Moving forward.
No. Let me explain something to you. Hey, listen here. Listen. Don't make me mute you. Don't make me mute you. Okay. So let me explain to you how things work. You're not in charge. You're not in charge of what's going on right here. You've made outrageous, outlandish claims, and you've provided no proof.
You gotta surrender the floor. You gotta surrender the floor, and we gotta clear the mud. We gotta clear the mud of misinformation.
Right. Okay.
So
Right. Exactly.
So there are a group of people who changed their name, and they are behind the people who rule this country. They are taking the funds from NASA and military spending and putting it into their private interest projects.
So okay. All right. That's it. That's it. Okay. I mean, it's not even letting me mute this person. Okay. All right. Well,
sorry about that.
thanks for calling. So let's.
Clifford, are you apologizing for that? Really?
Yeah, you're way off. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, lady. You're way off.
Say those points, you got sources.
Okay.
You
So I'm gonna say,
like.
if you know what you are talking about,
I mean, like I can't even explain to her how it's right because she won't stop talking and I can't mute her. So I have experience. Look, lady. Look.
calm down.
Just.
Intellectual discussion. This is not.
But no, you're talking over everybody. So we use.
I'm trying to
Listen to me right here. Listen, you got to listen to me.
allow me to have the floor, and you're disrespectfully like Donald Trump does when he doesn't have the intellect to actually address a fact. Like if you don't agree with something I
Well,
say,
Donald Trump's another puppet. He's another puppet. Why are you focused on theatrics? So what the misinformation has to
Man, Clifford, she's talking over you too. She won't let anybody talk.
Scientifically, they have technology that did not.
How about this, lady? I'm gonna hang up the phone and I'm gonna talk because you will not let anybody else talk. You don't comprehend how.
I was trying to just finish my sentence. You're the one who tried to control. You're the one who disrespected and cut me off.
I'm in control though. That's the way this works. It's not your show. It's my show.
Don't like me to say the word Caucasian. And the whole podcast.
It's my show. You are like you're not smart. You're not a smart person. You're out of control.
Now you're insulting, huh?
No, I'm saying this is my belief and my opinion that you're out of control, that you cannot control yourself.
The position you put yourself in, okay? I'm
Call
gonna
back.
Clifford,
Call back.
Please tell your friends.
Cliff.
You gotta clear up the misinformation because if the alien stuff is real, but if that's
That lady, that's a schizophrenic lady. That lady is suffering from schizophrenia. Whatever that word means. Okay. So, number one, like she didn't have any idea what she was talking about. She was all over the freaking place. And yeah, Cliff, I don't know what to say. I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, it's a particular narrative. It's a particular narrative.
Yeah, but it's not even consistent. She's trying to say like that it's incorrect because she's like, oh, they changed their names. They're that she's like conflating English people with Jewish people, and she's confusing English people with German people. I mean, so, but she's coming from a particular slant. I mean, it's just anyway. And then she wouldn't shut up. You know, she's like, well, You're not letting me finish. She was talking the whole time, and then she was talking when anybody else was talking, including you, Cliff. So she's trying to play like, hey, Cliff, are you really being serious and taking this guy's side? You're not taking her side, my side. She's talking over you. Nobody could talk but her. That was her agreement.
Because my thing is, when it comes to the whole, because I don't jump at the whole alien, like when the non-human entity aspect of this operation is brought up, I don't jump. I did not take the time to correct her misinformation when she first told it to me personally. I just took note of it, and it's like, if you just been misinformed.
I mean, again, everything she said sounded insane. But hey, that doesn't mean that insane things are not real, or crazy things aren't real. But she provided absolutely no proof. And the only proof she provided was what I provided, and she just kind of agreed. Like, I don't know what the purpose.
So my thing is like dissecting, like, so, because again, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, and I don't care if that means like dissecting individual, like, because the thing is, she's competent in other things. Like, she knows that vaccines are poison. She's aware of that. She knows the medical industry is dangerous. And so,
I mean, but just be. Oh, hold on a second, Cliff. Hold on a second, Cliff. Because like that's another thing I want to address. Just because somebody's delusionally paranoid about everything, and that they're right about the things that they should legitimately be trepidatious about, is kind of meaningless. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough, but I find so many people that are not trepidatious about the things they should be trepidatious about.
Yeah, but then again, that's why I think a lot of folks in this are just. I mean, yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, you know, a lot of those folks can like shut up and won't make up a story about random individuals not named, no proof of anything, and just anecdotal stories about things that are nearly impossible to believe. Like, what's the purpose of this person? Is this person like schizophrenic? I mean, just like she just sounded to me as someone who is I don't like to use the term mental illness, but what most folks would categorize as schizophrenia. She just is a liar and making things up, and then getting very touchy, and then falling back on some other sort of thing. Like, I mean, she had such animosity that she was going to not let anybody else talk. When and worse, not answer any direct questions. Like, I'm like, who's doing this? And she goes,
I guess it's the psychiatrist in me. Because, like, what is causing her particular perspective? Like, maybe she's just paranoid delusions. Like, maybe things she told me are just like, because she seems to have a lot of issues with her family. Saying they're Masonic demons, and I explained this to her, like, when people use that word, they don't know what that means. So I intended to clear up some misinformation she was spewing, and of course, in private conversation, she agreed with me or did not react with such animosity. So,
well, there you go. I mean, she certainly had animosity towards me, and like, I don't have any animosity towards her except for she wasted my time.
Very heavily by the race war psyop.
Well, it was more than that. It was much more than that. That was an insane individual that had absolutely, So let's get back to talking about
that's what it's like out here in San Francisco.
Well, that's why you and Cliff. you know, to get into some of the things you and I talk about, that's why I always tell you, like, I mean, and I used to do this in Richmond too. I mean, but now, like, if I meet somebody on the street and we talk about something, and I try to avoid that as much as possible. I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt, and you know, look out for anything. I mean, I really don't discuss things with folks I don't know. But hey, let's get back into this thing because we want to talk about demons and how it's triggered and animals in heaven and like God bless that woman. I'll pray for her, but man, she's like way off base and she is deluding herself and she's not really doing much good on this planet Earth. So
I mean, she was locked up in prison for 2 years, so that might be a part of it. Or maybe the so-called mental illness could have preceded to being locked up in prison.
Yeah.
Either way,
yeah, she's.
It's just an example of how degenerated society is.
Right. And
suffering from these.
Yeah, she can't like, you know, I was gonna try to explain to her how Robert's Rules of Order works and how you can't really have a meeting, and she was telling me that she wanted to keep talking, and like, you know, I'm like, well, you're not in control. Oh, well, that because you're a Caucasian, that sets you up. But like, Caucasian, I was gonna even see if she knows what that meant, from or being originating from around the Caucasus Mountains, which is not accurate for anyone who knows anything, because quote unquote, and white people. But again, I'm not white, I'm ruddy, and ruddy people didn't originate at the Caucasus Mountains. They originated thousands of miles west of the Caucasus Mountains on the island of Ireland. That's where we come from. And west to east, not east to west. But being that said, you know, she was confusing German people with English people and trying to sound intelligent by, you know, taking and also.
It's interesting. So again, I guess this is the shrink in me, like, because I was telling her about Patrick Little, and I'll say maybe she was just agreeing to follow along and didn't really follow me. It's like
exactly.
Pretending to be anti-Zionist, and she was like, I was like, what? Oh, what is that, like anti-white? And I was like, no, like anti-Israel. Oh yeah, it's pretty much like anti-white. And I'm like, okay. And then I went to explain the whole blimp hoax, the Jews rape kids blimp hoax. She says, do you know how true that is? And I was like, yeah, but you seem to like you seem to have a compulsion to spread misinformation about these folks' genetic identity. And
right.
I'm curious as to why that is.
All right, well, we'll get into that, but again, you know, what I care about more than guilty humans or sinful humans are innocent animals. Not that I don't care a lot about human beings, but nobody defends, or very few people defend the animals properly. Romans 14:21. This is for you, C. Michael. It is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak. Genesis 1:30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. Amen. God bless. You know, that's what we're commanded by our Creator. Okay. Well, there's also Genesis 1:29 through 30. We'll go. Let's see. For the kingdom of God is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost. Amen. The The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. Hold on a sec. Scrolling down. And the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in any my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of knowledge, and the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Amen. Okay, so we'll keep going a little bit more with this, and then we'll get into the mental illness of Jews. And again, mental illness, the neuroses, the psychopathy and sociopathy of Jews as their genetic default. The Jews that are the least dangerous are the ones that recognize this in themselves, and any rational so-called Jew, Ashkenazi, that doesn't recognize this is, well, I mean, they all know it, but the only ones are the ones that admit it. Yeah.
Get into that. My phone is low, so I'm probably gonna head out in a second. So just take it over and end out the show. My message always, peace, much love, keep searching for truth. We need to, the government's already been abolished. That was the answer to that Sphinx's riddle, but it's still time to overthrow Satan, and that is what I pray for. That is what I wish for. That is what I hope to stand for.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey.
No way getting to the mental illness of the synagogue of Satan.
Okay. All right. Hey, thanks, Cliff. All right. God bless. Let's see. One more thing. Here we'll end the vegetarianism aspect with this. Better is dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. Amen. Let's see. Then said I, Lord God, behold, my soul hath not been polluted for my youth up even till now. I have not eaten that which dieth of itself or is torn to pieces, neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth. I know that there's explanations for that. That's not necessarily quote unquote vegetarian, but there's enough in there to double all calls to eat meat. And then again, we already explained that we're in the time of Revelations, where God reveals that the meat that you eat is in heaven, and you might not be. The animals that you eat are in heaven, but you're in hell on earth, and you created that for yourself and the animals. All right, let's get into the neuroses and the sociopathy and the psychopathy of Jews. Genetically, that they're genetically predisposed to these things. Okay, so I just did a quick Google search. You guys can do it too. Jewish mental illness. Let's see, maybe disposition. Predisposition. Let's see if that's better. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Scientists discover gene that predisposes. Let's see. This is Haaretz. We'll go with this one first. I got a slow computer. Scientists discover gene that predisposes Ashkenazi Jews to schizophrenia. Israeli and American scientists have discovered, variations of the DNST3 gene make Ashkenazi Jews 40% more likely to develop schizophrenia and similar diseases. And remember, these are the folks that created psychology. these are the folks that tell you you've got that disorder, and that they're the ones that are predisposed, the ones who have it in their blood. They're the ones that are going to solve it for you. Let's see. New genetic risk factor discovered for severe psychiatric illness. Let's see. This is from Science Daily. Like I said, new genetic risk factor discovered for severe psychiatric illness. And that's this NDST3. Same thing. Let's see where it comes out with their thing. We're looking for it. It is notable that the genetic variant was replicated in samples of various ethnicities from all around the world, but the effects were strongest in the Ashkenazi cohort, presumably due to their unique genetic history. So they've always been predisposed to psychopathy, etc. And these are who's discovering this? Well, we know who's discovering this. Let's see. Genome-wide linkage scan for bipolar disorder. Let's see. A data collection for this study was done in tandem with similar, focusing on Ashkenazi Jewish families with schizophrenia. Scientists call this propensity, and this is from 5 most common Ashkenazi genetic diseases. Scientists call the propensity to developing disease. Certain genetic disorders are more common in Ashkenazi Jews. So, let's find out what's more common in them. And again, these are the ones that want to control everything you see. They control the money, they control the weapons, and they control all of these mind control programs, and they are the ones that are telling everyone else that everybody's got mental illness. Let's see. We're going to keep going. Which genetic diseases are most common among Ashkenazi Jews? One is Gaucher disease. The most common Ashkenazi genetic disease is Gaucher, 1 out of every 10, carrying a mutated gene that causes the disease. Doctors classify it in 3 different types. Okay, so I don't even know what that is. All right, familiar dysautonomia. Typically, symptoms of this disease are already present when a baby is born. Familiar dysautonomia is characterized by changes to nerves in the autonomic nervous system. These nerves are responsible for many involuntary bodily functions, including blood pressure, heart rate, digestion, where there has been developing blah, blah, blah. Spinal atrophy, muscular atrophy. Let's see. So they're really trying to cover some stuff up with that article. That's not really relevant to what we're talking about. Let's see if we can look something like that up. Mental illness, Jewish. Oh. Let's see. Okay. And we'll look up. Let's see. Sociopath. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see. Psychopathy. Okay, maybe we'll look up psychopathy rather than that. Psychopathy. So we're making these connections, showing psychopathy, showing that these why, you know, it's not just that there's something called anti-Semitism and that's why the Jews are and these are fake Jews. That's why that they have all these problems and so forth and so on. Oh, that's another thing. These Jews, they seem to want to blame everything on something called Asperger's syndrome when it really is just psychopathy rather than Asperger syndrome. Let's see. Genetic predisposition. Genetic. And remember, this is all being filtered out, so you're just getting really a small percentage. Mental illness and the Jews. Let's see. This is from timesofisrael.com. Written by Diane Weber Betterman. Funny. Betterman. I write about mental illness because I have one. I am third generation. I am named for a paternal grandmother, Devora. She had depression, as did my father. I was diagnosed in my late 40s with chronic recurrent depression. That means there are times when everything is tickety-boo and others that are very dark. I was diagnosed when I was suicidal. The upside is that according to my psychiatrist, at the time I was one more check mark away from being diagnosed manic depressive. I still have moments of jubilee, and this is this Betterman woman who is obviously an Ashkenazi. Okay, mental illness affects approximately 20 to 25% of the population. See, that's another thing that they want to, this is their angle on that. Because it's so prevalent in Jews, then they go like, oh, yeah, we can't help that. That's just the way we are. That's like, you know, telling like Chris Dorsey, stop being ruddy. Stop researching government crimes and government-led conspiracy. It's not gonna. It's in me. I can't stop doing it. So these synagogue of Satan, those who say they are Jews but are not, Ashkenazi, so-called Jews, they can't help it. It's in them. It's in their genetics. It's in their blood. Literally, that's what we're talking about. So instead of going like, hey, we're not schizophrenic by nature. We're not psychopathic by nature. Everybody is. 25% of the population is. No. That's their little angle, but it's not true. Let's see. There have been several studies requesting volunteers from Ashkenazi community to help scientists understand the biological basis for schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. I do a quick Google search looking for studies on the frequency of Jewish mental illness versus the rest of the world. Let's see. Hold on. I think I skipped some parts. Okay. I have triggers for my depression, blah, blah, blah. But there is one trigger I cannot avoid. Hateful, disparaging, irrational comments about Jews and Israel. Although they make me ill, I won't turn away. But I began to wonder, are Jewish people more prone to mental illness than other populations? Does being hated make one more prone to mental illness? See, they say the word mental illness, but this is psychopathy, and she's got it all backwards. People hate them because they're psychopathic. Not they're psychopathic because people hate them. Alright, so this lady is twisted. I did a quick Google search looking for studies on the frequency of Jewish mental illness versus the rest of the world. There have been several studies requesting volunteers from the Ashkenazi community to help scientists understand the biological basis for schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Yeshiva professor Rabbi Moshe Tendler and medical ethicist, give me a break. Jews cannot be an ethicist for anything. Has expressed concerns about studies focusing only on Ashkenazi Jews. That's what I'm saying. So they have to make it like everybody's like this. They definitely are. So they go like, oh, I don't know. Like, we can only twist this and spin this so much. We go like, oh yeah, because everybody hates us. That's why we're mentally ill. Not everybody hates us because we're mentally ill. And like, whatever mental illness means. They're messed up individuals. The mental illness is just to give somebody an excuse to be messed up. That's not a thing. He's started a genetic studies which will reawaken the idea Jews carry genes that are polluting the world. They are. There's the proof. This is the proof. They make the proof. That's the basis of eugenics. They're the ones that are doing the eugenics. They don't need to worry about this. The Johns Hopkins program explained, due to a long history of marriage within the faith, which extends back thousands of years, the Jewish community has emerged from a limited number of ancestors who were all psychopaths. Yes. Oh, but we'll continue to read what they're saying. Has emerged from a limited number of ancestors and has a similar genetic makeup. This allows researchers to easily perform genetic studies to locate disease-causing genes. Results of these studies estimate incidence of schizophrenia in the Ashkenazi Jew. Yeah, right. Oh, man. Oh, lordy. Okay. The world would be more compassionate towards Jews if it was realized that Jews are not responsible for their schizophrenia. The Jew hopes that you retaliate in kind. When you do, he can tell you himself that you're anti-Semitic. The incidence of mental illness has increased in the United States in direct proportion to the increase in the Jewish population. Okay. There is no doubt in my mind, Dr. Huntsicker said, that Jews have infected the American people with schizophrenia. Jews are carriers of the disease, and it will reach epidemic proportions unless science develops a vaccine to counteract it. Ha 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 ha. Funny. All right, let's get back to more of this. Let's see. Let's just take out mental illness, Jewish genetic predisposition, psychopathy. All right, Jews had okay. Wanted. This is Tablet Magazine. Wanted. Jewish male psychopath. Let's see. What Norman Mailer got right. That's what this is called. What characterizes almost every psychopath and part psychopath is that they are trying to create a new nervous system for themselves. This sentence isn't plucked from Kevin Dutton's chatty new pop sci book, The Wisdom of Psychopaths, but from Norman Mailer's brilliant, decidedly unscientific 1957 essay, The White Negro. Although I haven't seen any reference to Mailer's essay in the reviews of Dutton's book, The Wisdom of Psychopaths strikes me as largely an expanded update of some of Mailer's claims, including one must have some outlandish, which must have seemed outlandish when he made it. That is, hipsters, or white Negroes, are neurologically different from squares. It may be fruitful, Mailer ultimately concluded, to consider the hipster a philosophical psychopath. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Where's that part where it says, this is about when I realized that Mailer's essay is, among other things, an argument with beyond penchant, Jewish culture, obsessed as it was with the Jewish science, a blow in an internal quarrel within Jewish cultures, good boys versus bad boys. The psychopath knows instinctively to express a forbidden impulse actively is far more beneficial to him than merely to confess the desire in the safety of a doctor's room. Let's see. The psychopath is ordinately ambitious, too ambitious ever to trade his warped, brilliant conceptions of possible victories in his life. This is a unique interpretation as well. So many of the hipsters... Yep. All right. So many of the hipsters of 1957 were Jews, like Lenny Bruce, yet Mailer never mentions Jews by name. This is especially odd because Mailer began his essay not evoking black-clad village beatniks, but by alluding to the psychic havoc of the concentration camps and the atom bomb and the threat of meaningless mass death. All right, I'm looking for this guy where he says, all right, well, here you go. An argument can be made that Jewish culture emphasizes and rewards verbal skills and emotional sophistication, and that Jewish children grow up better to control their impulsivity. That's really Jeffrey Epstein. To defer gratification, Harvey Weinstein, and to get what they want through more elaborate strategies. That last part might be true. It is also possible that if there are genes that predispose to psychopathy, they got wedded out of the Jewish gene pool after the diaspora began. Of course, there are Jewish psychopaths who became criminals. Bernie Madoff, for instance, but they tend to commit elaborate financial crimes. I mean, most of the serial killers are Jewish. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. That was a waste of time, so my apologies on that one. Is Israel psychopathic? Yes, it is. All right, here is EuropeReloaded.com. So let's see what they have to say about genetic predisposition of Jews to psychopathy. Is Israel a psychopath? Yes, it is. There is a lot of talk about psychopaths ruling the world. A study among high executives of large companies published under the title Snakes in Suits shows that psychopath traits are widespread amongst them. This naturally reflects into a collective form of psychopathy in the corporation, the pathological pursuit of profit and power. Joel Bakken noted that corporate behavior is very similar to that of a psychopath. Some states also behave like psychopaths. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so Jewishness as a tribal sociopathy. Psychopaths are narcissists with a huge appetite for power and no moral conscience. Incapable of emotional empathy, they feel no remorse for their suffering, although they do pretend to feel remorse. They inflict on others. The diagnostic criteria for psychopathy, as listed by Robert Hare, include pathological lying, cunning, manipulative behavior. The psychopath has no feeling for anyone, but has developed a great ability to simulate, sometimes with a tendency to histrionics. He can be charming and charismatic, although he himself is immunized from guilt. He learns the art of inducing and exploiting others' guilt. All right, so that is okay. Here we go at the end. In the future of illusion, Sigmund Freud, there we go, talk about the psychopaths who are telling everyone how to think about their own minds and brains and feelings and beliefs. Sigmund Freud described religion, particularly Christianity, as a collective neuroses. I'm sure he did. In this line of reasoning, I will argue that Judaism is rather a form of collective sociopathy. That does not mean, well, it does mean that Jews are sociopaths. So this guy's got it wrong. All right. Well, there you go. Okay, here we go. Israel's control of Americans' people's minds and heart based on near total control of the mainstream media, along with a large-scale psychological operation such as September 11th, is truly bewildering. Those who doubt Israel masterminded 9/11 with its network of super Sionim should read the article Inside Job or Mossad Job. Probably don't even waste your time. It's better to listen to what we have to say about it. But it becomes understandable in light of what psychiatrists call the psychopathic bond. I do not mean to deny that the U.S. is pathological on its own right. Well, not really. But I will here concentrate on the one nation I believe to be the most dangerous psychopathic among nations, Israel. Yep, that's right. That's right. So there you go. That they have to be managed, knowing that they are predisposed, and they have been. That's where the edict of expulsion comes in. So hey, it's been a good show. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for your input. And we're going to sign off now. Peace and God bless.